What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be going over a site that generates around $2,700 per month. Now this is in a weird niche. You've seen it from the title. It's in the glove niche, so which is kind of weird, something that you don't usually find. Now, not only is the site bringing in a ton of money, it's also bringing in a huge amount of search engine traffic as well. So we're going to be reverse engineering that whole process and seeing how they're generating that traffic. Now, if you haven't seen one of these videos before, it's essentially where I break down a website that's already succeeding and we go down to the bare principles to see why the site's succeeding and then identify key areas of where the site could improve as well. Now, I'm going to be putting this together in a series because I used to do these videos and I haven't done any, recently. And I was thinking, you know what, the channel's kind of growing. I'm getting a lot of new subscribers and I really need to up my level. So by doing that, I'd like to create a series where I do it on a regular interval so you can come back and see these videos on a regular basis. Now, a few of the things that we're going to be taking a look at is the on-page SEO strategy, the backlink profile, the keyword research that goes into the site, and much more. The key idea here is that you can take away a few tips that you can then later apply to your own website and business and then benefit from that from watching this video. That way you can potentially reach the same milestones as any of these sites that you see here or any of the milestones that I've achieved too. So if you're looking forward to that, then make sure you smash that like button right now and subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, so what is this site all about? What site is it? What's the domain name? Just tell me. You're probably thinking. Well, instead of listening to me ramble on anymore, I thought it'd be even better if we head over to the site on the computer of where we can begin our analysis and you can take an in-depth look at this website. So let's get to it. This site that we're going to be taking a look at today, and as you can see, it's a very simple looking site. It doesn't look like anything spectacular, to what you might have expected. So what we're going to be doing today is just breaking down this site down to its bare principles and trying to reverse engineer it essentially to find out exactly what strategies they've used, what they've done well, what could be improved potentially, and just a few key takeaways that you can potentially apply to your own business and your life. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to first of all look at the name of the site and what it is. Okay, so one of the things that work well with most domains these days is it's a lot easier to for companies to remember if you've just got without the www dot. So it seems like they might have it, but I don't use them anymore. So that's just a simple change there. But of course the site is secure with the HTTPS, which means it's encrypted, all the information, the data, okay, personal information. All right, so we can see here that the site's about gloves, okay? So anything glove related, whether it be a sleeve or a glove, gloves for climbing, beekeeping gloves, and anything glove related. I was quite shocked when I went through and the whole site is about gloves, oddly enough, okay? So the whole thing, they've managed to rope a whole site around gloves. Okay, so it just shows that you can do absolutely anything and succeed with a niche website. Now, the theme that they appear to be using, I have tried to get the theme and what theme it was, but I couldn't gather it using the services that I use. So I am assuming, let's just have a look if we check what theme is that. Yeah, okay, so let's see. We'll plug it into there and we'll see if we can find it. So let's just go back to the site. And what it is I'm assuming that they're using Genesis because I've got that on one of my sites. Yeah, see, so this doesn't tell me, and I've tried a few others and it's the same thing. I'm going to make the assumption that they are using Genesis because this looks very similar to 10beast, which is this site, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It looks almost identical. It's the same theme. You can clearly see that the top menu and all of that is almost identical. Okay, and the reason why I know they would use this theme is because it's very high converting. It's very good. Okay, there's a lot of sites that are very successful that use that theme, and even just the actual fonts and everything look pretty good on that site. And it's fast loading because it's very stripped down. So it doesn't have all the additional things that your fancy themes give you. It's just a very basic and effective, efficient theme. Okay, so we can see here that they've got, a clear basic homepage. It's just
a feed of some of the featured posts. Okay, so I don't think they're actually using a blog reel here. It just looks like the featured post, but as you can see, there is nothing spectacular that they've done here. Very straightforward, and it's just what needs to be done. So as you can see, you do not have to have like some fancy, crazy theme or website. It just needs to do the job. Okay, and you can see here they've got the Amazon Associates program, like, you know, the privacy, the policy, sorry, you know, to comply with Amazon's T&Cs. And then do you like blah, 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 just a bit of the contact, affiliate disclosure. That's probably a more in-depth one. So that's what that is, again, is a disclosure. Terms of use, privacy policy, and about page. So make sure you include this, and that on all of your sites. Make sure it's always there. Okay, I'm not even sure if I've got that on all of my sites, but you need to have that. Okay, at the top menu, very short and to the point. So you've got the blog reel. So if you want to get to the whole blog, you can do that. And then each section's very easy. There's no like confusion. There's not lots of tabs, lots of different things. It's very straightforward. And this is one of the most important things that you can do on a site. Someone needs to be able to navigate the site within a few clicks to get from one side of the site to the other. You know, they shouldn't have to click more than like 2 or 3 times to get through your whole site. Okay, so that's quite efficient and quite helpful. Now, one of the things you can see that they've done very similar to 10beast, if you're familiar with that site, is it's a lot of best articles. Now, I'm not sure the whole site's like that. Okay, I wouldn't personally recommend doing a whole site like that, but we'll take a look at more in depth. So you can see this is 10best again. 10best. It's very similar to 10beast because you can see that the whole reason 10beast came about was because they were doing 10 best this, 10 best that. So whoever it is has taken that concept on board. Look, top 10, and then it's this like very similar cookie cutter review type template that I'll actually be giving you some information on in a bit, because I constructed this as well. I used the same kind of flow. Okay, so anyway, what we're going to do is we'll take a look at a few of these other, you know, topics. So it's not just, okay, so they are doing some reviews, okay, which is pretty good. This is 10 best again, best. So 10 best arthritis. Now, because, okay, so this is different, informational. Now, what's really good about this niche is because it's so niche down, they can target a lot of these things on like the Best Buy, and they're probably like, you know, not really a big amount of traffic keywords, but obviously at the same time, you know, it's just like, it adds up over time when you're the only site. Like there's probably like very few sites that are actually targeting these kind of things consistently. So I've just drummed their details into my tool here, which is keysearch.co. Very cheap and cheerful tool, very good. I've got lots of tutorials on it if you ever wanted to see it. The only downside to Keysearch is it doesn't really show you an accurate referring domains. I do still use Ahrefs free backlink checker for that to get a more accurate opinion on that, but it is very good in analyzing the estimated traffic usually, and organic keywords. But again, it's not, don't take it as final kind of thing. Okay, it's not the holy grail. And it does give you a few sites that are referring over. It gives you some information and gives you the average amount of anchor text that they're using. So this is using a lot of branded URL anchor text. Okay, so URL, the actual like site name, which is pretty good. So if you were going to go up as a competitor, obviously, you know, you could see exactly what you would need to do on average to emulate a successful site. Okay, so you can see they're ranking for quite a lot of keywords here, and then these are some of their keywords. You know, if we reverse engineer the keywords that they're targeting, you can see like they've got quite a lot of #1 positions. You know, so we've got men's heated gloves, heated mittens, goalie, like for football or soccer if you're in the States. Gloves with heat, gloves with built-in heaters, gloves that heat up. So look, all these, like I said, you see how I said they're very low search volume, but they add up over time. If you've obviously got a ton of these, like all doing the same thing, it's going to amass to quite a bit of traffic. Okay, so you can see, like, we can even sort by top pages to see what ones are bringing them the most traffic according to the tool. So we can see that this is this heated gloves. Okay, so that's pretty good. That's bringing them like over 7,000 visits per month. All right, so we've got that. Now, the next thing we're also going to want to do is we want to see, the kind of domain authority that this site has. Okay, so one of the things, what's interesting is because this site's up for sale on a site called Motion Invest. So some of you may know Spencer Hawes from Niche Pursuits. He actually put this site together with another two co-founders, and it's essentially a place where you can buy and sell websites. But what I use the site for is it's a very good way of gauging exactly, what a site will sell for, so on average. Now, after actually checking out the information about this site, it's up for 95k. So, you could expect this site at a 35x multiple. Yeah, that's roughly what it is. And so this is saying 2.9x times yearly income. Okay, so I'm going off obviously monthly. It's like 35x the monthly income. Domain authority is 22. So I wanted to check that because you get obviously more accurate information here. So 22 domain authority, which is not super high. I think my dog site's like 13 or 14, and that's pretty, it's not that old, that site. You can see 183 articles posted. So this is to give you a gauge of how many articles you would potentially need to post on your site to compete with a site like this, or just what it takes, like what sites are doing. You can see that they're generating 30,000 page views per month. So you can see how my tool was a little bit off. Maybe unique views, they might have like 20,000 and then an extra 10,000 from people clicking through to other pages. Who knows? I don't know how they're using these metrics, but you can see here, okay, so no, we can see this is like on a yearly basis. So traffic, you can see as it went through from January 19, 39,000, and then dipped a bit. I'm not sure why. That was all like, this is 2018. Okay, so May 19. Yeah, I'm not so sure why this is showing a dip here. It shows, okay, there's kind of a dip there as well. Yeah, there is. And then 42,000. So it's a bit sporadic with the traffic, but overall you can see they're averaging about 30,000 views a month. So that's where they got that. Okay, so that's how they worked out the average, because they would have added all these up and divided it by the amount of months that they used for the equation. And then these are the Amazon earnings. So you can see, which is very nice and transparent and clear on this site, Motion Invest. So I encourage you to check it out if you are looking to just see what kind of sites are working and what successful sites look like. Okay, so I think it's a free registration as well. I don't remember paying any money or anything. And then you can see all the income here. So there's a ton of money coming in from this site. December 18, it brought in like 8k. So the site's been around for some time. And then if we go down, you can see here, so the site's been around since 2017, when it looks like it emerged from the rubble and came up to dominate the gloves niche. And we can see here the amount of links. So this is the Ahrefs report, which is the most accurate I'd find, apart from SEMrush or something like that. We can see that this is giving inaccurate data in regards to monthly traffic, but they do have 435 backlinks, 108 different referring domains. So that means 108 different unique referrers are linking over to them, some of them several times, which make up obviously the 435. Domain rank of 6, and I'm not sure what that stands for. Unique rank, I don't know. I don't have a clue. Don't use Ahrefs that much. And then, you can see obviously the different kind of domains that are linking, like .govs and whatever else. So they've only got like .coms, .not, .org are pretty good as well. So organizations and whatever else. And backlink analysis, I haven't used this, but TrustFlow, you can see there if you're into that kind of metric. And referring domains, that's showing something a little bit different. I'll probably go for the Ahrefs one. But essentially, you can see the complete breakdown here of this site, and just a little bit more about it if you wanted to come. So you can see in December 2019, the site made over 7k, which is ridiculous. That's pretty good, ranking for over 8,000 keywords. So you can see my tool was a little bit off on that as well. So I did say it's a little bit inaccurate, but it does pull up. It's usually good with this kind of stuff, so it's a bit alarming. But we can see here that they're showing up for 97 of them are in positions 1 to 3, maybe more, because going off what they've got there. And then 520 are in positions 4 to 10. So they're bringing in a ton of traffic, and it's quite shocking, with only such a small backlink profile and the amount of the amount of traffic that they're bringing in, 30,000 views on average, and they're generating a lot of money. Now, the reason why they're generating so much money from only 30,000 page views per month, because you might have seen other sites like, for example, Income School have many sites that generate like 50,000 and whatever, and they're not generating that kind of money. Well, the reason why this is generating so much money is because it's very high converting, because a lot of the content is all buyer intent. So it's all focused around best this, best that, best this. So anyone who lands on here is probably here to buy something, whereas my site gets it's on track to do about 12 to 14,000 page views this month, and it's nowhere near the kind of return on investment in regards to traffic as this, because I've got a lot of informational content and I'm running ads on the site, so on and so forth. So I like to diversify the income, but this site is very similar to a cookie cutter site that you could simply emulate. I do feel that they potentially might have used PBNs on this site, because these sites are very hard to rank for these kind of keywords. It's very similar to 10Beast, so, and they used not PBNs, but they use a few other techniques that not everyone would potentially agree with, okay, or find ethical. All right, so we can see here best fishing gloves, best electrician gloves, so on and so forth. So let's take a look at the content and see what they're doing with that. So one of the things I always look at as well is permalinks. These are found after testing gruesomely over the last 6 months. Doesn't really have that much of an effect. You could put like this 10 best gloves, whatever, in there and just leave it, and it doesn't matter. So don't focus on that too much. This is either called the slug or the permalink. Just make sure that it's not like .category, blah, 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 and all of that kind of stuff, like hashtag, whatever. Make sure it's just set to post name when you go into your settings in your WordPress dashboard. All right, so I use a very similar kind of strategy in regards to the way that I set out my articles. I'm a bit more close to 10Beast, but this is the same format. What we can see here is they're using a full width kind of template, so they're not using like a one-sided left-hand side kind of site, what you'd usually find. They don't have any, email subscription opt-ins or anything like that. Very similar to the way I set out my post with the FAQs at the end. I think it's a brilliant way of getting in some additional keywords in your H3s and so on and so forth, and also obviously helping the reader make an easy decision. And so if we take a look here, they've got a nice warm and welcoming introduction, bolded the bit that they want you to focus on. Out of, if you were to skim over it, they probably want you to read this out of everything. So that's very good. Nice H2 title. So I do like the formatting on this site. This, I believe, is H2 as well. I would probably go with a H3 underneath the H2 to let it know, if I were using like a table of contents plugin or something like that, that would potentially go under that, just to keep the formatting nice. But of course, this works. It's already proven, tested that it is working. So the image here is just a product image. I tend to do that on my product reviews. Okay, now I do use the same thing. I highlight an area within the text that I would like as most important. If you were to take away anything away from reading the description of the product, then the bit I would like highlighted is maybe a negative thing about it, which works well in an odd way. I don't know why, it just works. Sometimes highlighting something negative and putting it in a red box, or just something of a benefit that makes it different to other products on the market. So this should give you a general idea of how you should be writing your product reviews. Nice, warm and friendly. First person is a big thing. Don't write like we and whatever. It's usually like you and I. Okay, the company the company approach just doesn't work well. It's on niche sites. If you're doing an authoritative, big website, then maybe you could take a different approach there. Okay, so what we're going to look at is, so you're saying, imagine letting go of a big bulky catch due to a slippery. See, so this is targeting straight away. If you're into fishing, like you're going to relate to this, okay? Because when you've let go of a fish, disappointing, right? And then it's reaffirming, the feeling, okay? Well, this may have been triggered by wet, sweaty hands or blah blah blah. This, honestly, the content is a triple star. That is exactly the way that I write my content. Okay, you may have wished you have a warm, dry fishing gloves within your reach. This is where the Sims blah 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 introducing the gloves as a solution to the problem. So they've potentially created a hook, like a problem, literally hook word there as well, but and then they've solved it by the solution of the gloves. Okay, and you just rinsing and repeating that kind of strategy throughout each of your product reviews. I always do my pros and cons exactly the same way. Now, the pros and cons, people mess up on this. I was going to say, the F word, but they F up on it a lot, because what happens is they try putting all these specs. Like, people don't want to see, like, using A triple star batteries and whatever else here. They don't care about that. It's just like, is it good? What's good about it? What's bad about it? So heated hands, maximum. This is like, I wouldn't even put heated hands. I'd put long lasting, maximum, blah, 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 water resistant. So what's the good things? Like, it's good in water, something like that, or water resistant and whatever. Don't make it specs. Don't make it like technicalities, basically. Leave that for any specs section, like, measurements and all that crap, if you want to put that on there. But as you can see, you don't need that stuff because they'll find that out on Amazon, so you don't have to put specs in there. I see a lot of sites that succeed without doing it. I tend to do it, but you don't have to. It's something that I think I might remove, to be honest, because you're just giving them an insight here to the product, so they go over to find all that information out on Amazon. Okay, so we can see here that Pal Myth, Sunny, and you have a phobia of being so casually coming in. The thing is, I'm so big on this thing about entering introductions with a warm and friendly in a warm and friendly first person manner. I always tell my readers, make sure it's warm, friendly, and in first person. If you can throw some humor in there or something relatable to the pain or problem that the person is experiencing, then do that, and then potentially solve it with the form of the product. Okay. Then again, they're following the same format, and then check it out on Amazon. I always have like view here, click here to view on Amazon, check it out on Amazon, same kind of thing. And I always use orange. I don't know why it works well on Amazon buttons. I use orange or red. Red or orange works really well for Amazon's sites. I just don't know why it works. It's just the way it is. So as you can see, he's also got a YouTube video inside of this post as well, which works really well on reviews. So you can see someone actually testing these gloves out. I mean, if you could ever find that and it's relevant, and it can fit in, then I would always encourage you to do that and include that inside of your reviews. It makes it a lot more authentic. Okay. I tend to use these product review images throughout the articles. Again, he's got another review there, very good. And then at the end of it, you can do a buyer's guide. Okay, so I tend to do my buyer's guide at the top of my articles, so right at the top, but you can do it at the bottom as well. This is very similar to 10beast, this site. Yeah, they are very similar. Like, it's questionable of whether it's the same owner of 10beast who created this site. Yeah, they're using the exact same plugin for the pros and cons, so on and so forth. If we're to just take a look at one, I'm so excited to actually, honestly, because when you find this out, yeah, like when you get about the internet, you see this, yeah, again and again. If we look at this, look at how similar it is, watch. This is a random post on this site. Look at that. It's almost identical. You can see it's very similar, very similar. And again, this site was huge. This is the site that's generating over 40K a month. So you can see the kind of income that you can potentially make with these kind of sites, okay? And then look at the end, they got the buyer's guide at the end. Look, they do the buyer's guide right at the bottom. Let's have a look. Yeah, see, buying guide right at the bottom after. They give you. So this just helps you to make a decision. All you're doing with any of these articles is you're helping the reader to make a decision. Okay, that's all you're doing. Okay, so if we continue here, they've got these in, I believe, let's inspect that. We'll see these are probably, let's click off that. These are H3s. So you can see they're up and just in the purple, they're H3s. And then obviously this will be a H2, okay? So the way you want to format your on-page SEOs, you always want to have the main headings in H2s. Like, I usually put conclusions in there as well. I don't know why they've got that small conclusion. Don't know if that's a mistake or something. But I usually have these in H2s, and then anything underneath within this topic, under this, is going to go in a H3, and then anything under this would go in a H4. And that's how you kind of move down, the H's for the title sizes and whatever else. So that's good formatting. Okay. Now, one of the other things with their on-page SEO, let's see how many the keyword density. So if we say best fishing gloves, what they're trying to rank for, you could probably put that in there a few times because it's, it's a very short keyword. So best fishing gloves, they got it in the main title, which is a H1, then one in the H2, and then one within the text content as well. So that's pretty good. And it looks like they've got quite a long word count across these sites. I mean, this looks like a lot of words. the content looks like this is the same as Tenbees. They used to do these huge articles, like I'm talking like, 5,000-10,000 word articles. This looks at least like 3,000 to 4,000 words, maybe 5,000. So that it's a lot. There's a lot that goes into this content here. You can see last updated, so on and so forth. You can go to, what authors have written each particular articles, if it's even, genuine author. Anyway, but from that person, whoever it is. And then we've got like health, so best compression gloves, reviews, best carpal tunnel braces. So I don't know what this is, a brace. So anything glove related, this is still like a glove, like a brace, a sleeve kind of thing. And same format again. They're just going through the motions. Now, one of the other things is, let's have a look. They're linking out the outbound links. So the interlinking process is pretty good. They're using a lot of internal links, but they only use like 1 or 2. So they're using, I think, a silo structure here, which is essentially where you orchestrate your site in a way. So I love these boxes, by the way. This is just Gutenberg. You can get these boxes, very simple. You just color them. I've used them before. Very, very good. Very good. Basically, you can use an interlinking process to use it for traffic and click through, but most importantly for see, they're using a silo more than likely. Just one link strategically, like it basically passes link juice through. So the authority of one page will pass on to another page, especially if it's ranking well, it'll pass through that link juice there. All right, so that's all of that so far. So what we're going to take a look at is, I've actually brung up their on-page SEO. We're going to take a look at a bit more technicalities here. So, good use of H1, H2 titles, as I said, earlier. You can see, obviously, this is one of their articles. That's the fishing gloves. And we can see all the different things. Images, they're not using alt tags. So all alt tags it's not really important. It's essentially for if you wanted to rank for in Google Images, you would put this in alternative text, like the name of it, like, black sleeve brace or something like that. You don't have to use them, so don't worry about it. They're not using it as well. I don't really use them on all my images. Okay, so you can see here text to HTML ratio is good. Okay, URL rewrite looks friendly. Okay, so you don't want all these, like I said, those hashtags and all that crap, or underscores in your URLs. You don't want none of that. Okay, keyword consistency, we're not really fussed about that. Favicon, this is quite important now in Google. So if we take that away, because I keep clicking it, if we go over to here, they've got this nice little favicon here. We can see that, and that shows up a lot in Google's results, like best gloves these days. Look, if we just take a look at this kind of stuff, you can see how important the favicons are now, because they're really highlighting it on these sites, especially, like they're trying to blend it in with the ads usually now. But yeah, favicons are becoming quite important, even though it's a small aspect of a website. And then we can see here, email, we're not caring about that stuff. Mobile optimization, we'll check the page speed in a sec. And then there we go. So speed is not like fantastic, but it's pretty good. Look, user experience 99 though, so that's good enough. Perfect. Well, that's better than good. And page speed on desktop is pretty good there. Got a nice Mac there, same as mine, similar. Oh no, similar. Anyway, and they haven't got the W3C certificate. Don't worry about that too much. I mean, you could have it. It's nice, but so overall, pretty good, so they're doing really well on the on page as well. I can't find if they got any PBNs, but I do personally think that they're probably using PBNs, because to rank for all these keywords like that, I mean, it is 2 years old, so maybe it's just, using Web 2.0s or something like that, who knows. And then, let's just take a look at some of the keywords that they're actually ranking for. So if we was to say like, this one, for example, this is just like dishwashing cleaning gloves. So best dishwashing cleaning gloves. So we're going to take that and drum that into the tool and see how hard those kind of keywords are. Okay, so, and what kind of traffic they're bringing in. So let's do dishwashing cleaning gloves first, and then we'll see best dishwashing cleaning gloves. And what's really good about this tool is you can filter through and, do different things if you want to change things up. So you can see, look, that's only getting 10 searches a month. They're probably like not even using that. So let's see best dishwashing gloves or something like that. Okay, see, so they're probably ranking for this somewhere, like dishwashing gloves or something like that. Best dishwashing cleaning gloves. Okay, so best dishwashing gloves. Yeah, they're probably ranking for this. Let's have a look if we can see them in the top 10 here. they're probably ranking for those kind of keywords. Yeah, so I can't see them in the top 10 here. This is like Gloves Mag again, yeah? So they're not in the top 10, but they're still ranking pretty good. Like, so I don't know what keywords they're exactly ranking for, but it's going to be something to do with dishwashing gloves, because they're definitely bringing in a good amount of traffic. But then obviously they could have other keywords that are bringing in a ton of traffic and some that are just not doing as well, you know, so that can compensate for other underperforming articles on your site. But that is it in a nutshell. Like, honestly, these are these reviews. This is episode 1 of the series, and we'll be continuing this series throughout the whole of 2020. So I'm going to be doing many sites, just breaking them down, going through the intricacies of the site with a fine-tooth comb, and just seeing why they're successful. If you want to get a template to understand better how to write these reviews, I've got this one here plus another that does the whole article. This is just specifically for your product reviews within the article. You can download those below this video. I've left a link in the description box. I'm sorry for the soaring noise outside. Where we live, there's a shop downstairs that does that stuff. And yeah, that's it. I mean, come and check out the site if you want to see it yourself. You know, it's very straightforward. You can see the interlinking process of how they're passing link juice. There's not really any outbound links on here, so you can see that, you know, you can rank without them, okay, especially on buyer intent focused articles. And you can see the actual balance of, you know, buyer intent to informational. But trying to go after a niche like this with just buyer intent, like if you were to try and go now, it might be quite a hard, difficult job if you're not using like PBNs or any kind of, you know, powerful techniques in that sense. Okay, so just trying to write content and rank here, I'm not really sure that that's what approach they took. I don't really think so. But just to see what a good site and successful site looks like, go and check it out. Make sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed this video, and if you are new, make sure to subscribe as well. Any questions, comments, leave them below in the comment section, and I'll make sure to get back to you. Peace be with you. Speak to you soon.